And Sean Thompson. Sean, I would be remiss if I didn't report that a massive cyber attack scrambled computer systems in dozens of countries the other day. In an assault, a computer security expert said relied on a software vulnerability that our own NSA had allegedly exploited earlier. This affected FedEx, among others, and the England National Health Services, as if it isn't tough enough to get good health service in England without computer
But Snowden
hacking.
was way off, wasn't he?
Well, right. Here's the thing, and just to bring it close to home here, over the weekend, I'm trying to access my AOL account.
Watching you do anything electronic is painful. My word.
The fact that I still have an AOL email
It's like
account.
watching Chris Christie do yoga.
So I try to log on. I forget my password. So I go through the process of getting a new password. And when I write in the new password, AOL tells me, that's your current password. So how about that for stupidity?
Riveting.
And,
Absolutely
well,
riveting.
I think it's riveting, and it just shows, it just dramatizes and underscores.
I saw this movie.
Problem.
Matthew Broderick want to play a game. I saw it. Let's just get it over with.
Let's go right now to Pat Hughes of the Illinois Policy Institute. He has a new book called An Illinois Constitution for the 21st Century. Pat, thanks for joining us this morning. We appreciate it. Oh, except I got to say hello, and I got to click the button here.
You
Hi,
fought
Pat.
to be in charge. Just so the ladies and gentlemen know, he made it. Bruce is first. Bruce gets the use of the thing. Okay, and he can't do it right.
I didn't go. Hey, I don't even know that I was using my current password. I tried to. All right, Pat, good morning.
I was afraid that the computer from War Games that Sean just referenced had hacked your system, guys.
Yeah.
There we go. So Pat, you've got this whole new Illinois Constitution for the 21st century, and the first thing is about school choice. We've got to make sure that school choice is ensconced because you never know what some judge is going to do. Also, in tandem with that, are we going to be able to actually cut teachers' pensions in your new Constitution?
Well, in my new Constitution, Bruce, we would be able to do that. Those are actually two really important issues, and we address this stuff in the book. We thought it was important at the Liberty Justice Center, which is a project of Illinois Policy Institute, to address issues in the Constitution. We hear a lot about the state legislature and Mike Madigan and how he's unwilling to do anything by way of reform, particularly with the governor. And that's a big problem. But another big problem is the fact that our Constitution needs to be amended. Look at issues like school choice or the pension clause. You know, the pension clause is worded and has been interpreted by the Supreme Court to not allow anybody to touch or change the pensions. And we owe, $130 billion in unfunded pensions. So we propose amendments to the Constitution, which you can do to change the pension clause. We propose amendments to the Constitution to allow for redistricting reform and term limits. So the same people that have brought you all of this pain, guys, over the last 30 years can then be, ultimately replaced by the citizens with the correct type of map and with term limits on politicians. So really, when you think about school choice, when you think about pensions, when you think about term limits and redistricting and all the things that can help lead to reform, the kinds of reform that I think the Republican side is trying to get through the governor but is being stopped at being able to succeed at, amending the Constitution is the way to go. So we've written this book. It's got 12 chapters. We're hosting an event at the University of Chicago at 12:15 on Tuesday, the law school there, to discuss how the Constitution can be amended for structural reforms in the 21st century.
Now, you ran for senator, Pat, I remember, right?
I did. I ran for the U.S. Senate in the Republican primary in 2010 and finished second to Mark Kirk.
Yeah, he's now a lobbyist. He does great. He gets to park right next to the door. Everybody's a big winner. But now, in this book, are you educating the people that we do not have a pension system at all, that they use this word pension as a false sense of virtue? That what it is an employment contract, and regardless of the performance of the investment, these scoundrels are going to get paid a minimum anyway, along with compounded interest, and we, the people of Illinois, simply underwrite it. Do you touch upon that?
Yeah, we do. And interestingly enough, that's one of the things that this new Constitution that we're proposing, the amendments to it, are going to address, the structural damage, right? Who's benefiting, Sean and Bruce, from the way Illinois is run right now? I can tell you who it is.
The failures.
Public sector unions and the trial lawyers who pour money into the pockets of Mike Madigan and his cronies to get these same folks elected to do the same things over and over. So you end up with these contracts that can't be determined or changed. And then, of course, the Supreme Court is packed with, Democrat justices who uphold this stuff. So amending the Constitution to address the pension crisis is the way that the people who are getting screwed on this can have a say and have a voice and change the nature of this. Otherwise, guys, people are going to continue to leave the state and we're going to continue to contract economically.
Pat, may I suggest an amendment to your amendments right here? And that would be making Illinois a sanctuary state for gun rights, because it's the latest rage. Sanctuary cities for immigrants. You're seeing Democrats, of all people, with a renewed interest in federalism. All of a sudden, they want to protect being able to sell pot in their states. They want to protect themselves from the Trump administration's incursions. But how about, in the event that Trump isn't able to pack the court, put the right people on the Supreme Court, that we have these safeguards in our own Constitution that Illinois does not have to recognize any federal legislation or interpretation of the Constitution of the United States with regard to gun rights. We are a sanctuary state. What do you think of that?
Well, I think the main point there that reflects to me is the idea that Democrats have no core values. The left has no core values, right? So they're for big federal government when it suits them. They're for, states' rights or city rights or local rights when it suits them. They're for this when it suits them and that when it suits them. You see this all the time with Trump as president. They'll attack. Look at Comey. Everybody wanted Comey fired. Now I'm off topic. Everybody wanted Comey fired on the Democrat side. And the minute Trump fires him, oh my goodness, it's obstruction of justice and it's Watergate, where are Woodward and Bernstein. This is the nature of how the left is, and it's so important when you guys are doing your stuff on the show, when Dan and Amy are doing it, when I'm out talking, that we make sure that the listeners, the people who want structural change and reform to make their lives better, understand that it's a constant moving narrative with the left, that we're the party and the people of principle, and they're the party and the people of whatever they can do to feather their bed, and that's why we have the pension crisis.
Well,
that's why we don't have redistricting.
Well, here's the problem, Pat. We defeat our own purpose by electing these failures and frauds who say they're Republicans, and when they get in, they vote for the same nonsense, i.e. Peter Roskam and Adam Kinzinger with the jumpsuit.
Oh, come on.
Sorry.
All right, that's fighting words. Let's step outside, smoke a cigar, and start
so
fighting.
So let's pretend Pat Hughes is the senator right now, and you see the failure of single-payer education, which is what we have now. Would you be advocating as a senator for the Obamacare rehab known as Trump Care?
I would advocate for it as a start through reconciliation, because you have to get rid of Obamacare. You have to get rid of it. And so for a starting position with the House passed is a good start. Now you try to go through the reconciliation process as a senator. I, as a senator, would try to make the bill better.
Do you think that Phase 2 and Phase 3 will coincide with election years? It's all a scam, Pat. It's all right.
All right,
we'll
Pat.
work on you till you get elected.
Pat, he's just lumped you in with the Fabian Socialists. Pat, we appreciate it. The book is called An Illinois Constitution for the 21st Century, and you're going to be at the U of C Law School tomorrow at 12:15, right?
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Pat. Pat Hughes of the Illinois Policy Institute.
They'll let me into that? I don't think so, but I'm going anyway.